Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As promised, I'm sharing this delectable chocolate chip and walnut cookie recipe with you. These are so chewy and delicious. I promise you'll make them again and again for your family and friends. I made a lot of these during the holidays and everyone loved them. So let's dive into the recipe. I always like to measure my ingredients for baking because it's really important to get the right ratio of everything. So if you don't have a weighing scale or kitchen scale, you can always do the measuring with the measuring cup. Just level nicely and don't overpack your cup. I'll show you the measurements in grams and cups as well. So we'll start measuring 3 cups of flour, which equals up to 483 grams. So here I'm measuring the flour. I have the scale underneath the bowl. So 3 cups is equals 483 grams of flour. Again, if you're only using the cup, just level nicely from the top and don't overpack the cup. Always sift your dry ingredients like flour, salt, baking powder, and baking soda. It makes the flour really nice and airy and also gets rid of any lumps that might be in there. So here I'm measuring exactly to 483 grams. To that we'll add 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of baking soda and half a teaspoon of salt. So once you have everything in there, you sift all the dry ingredients together into a big bowl. So that was 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Now I'll add 1 teaspoon baking powder. Again, always level your ingredients. And to that I'll add about half a teaspoon or 1 teaspoon of salt. It depends how much salty you want it. I like my cookies to be salty a bit, so I'll add 1 teaspoon of salt. And always sift it again to make it nice and airy. These cookies are so tasty and so yummy, you won't be able to stop eating them. It's a very easy foolproof recipe and they're literally ready in 10 minutes. So I'm also using 1 whole cup of chocolate chips. You can use semi-sweet or milk chocolate chips. Here I have semi-sweet chocolate chips, 1 whole cup, and 1 cup of walnuts. Again, you can substitute with pecans as well, and 2 large eggs. Always bring your eggs to room temperature for baking. This is 1 cup of brown sugar and 1 cup of white sugar. The white sugar I'm using is actually organic, that's why it looks a little bit golden, but it's actually just regular sugar. Also, we'll need 1 cup of unsalted butter. So we'll add both the sugars and butter to the mixing bowl and use a whisk attachment and whisk it for at least 2 to 3 minutes until it's nice and foamy. I melted the butter slightly in the microwave so it mixes easily with the sugars. Start mixing at normal speed for about 2 to 3 minutes and you'll see that it becomes really nice and foamy and the color becomes light. With this ratio of ingredients, you should be able to make about 18 to 20 cookies depending on how big or how small you're making your cookies. Sometimes I like to separate my batter and make just walnut cookies separately and chocolate chip cookies separately because my kids don't really like walnuts, so I like to separate it sometimes. Once the batter is light and fluffy, start adding your eggs one at a time and keep mixing on low speed. Once the eggs are nicely incorporated, mix 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And always make sure to keep scraping the sides every once in a while so all the ingredients are nicely incorporated. These turn out so buttery and so yummy, you won't be able to stop at one. So once the batter is light and fluffy, again scrape the sides so it's nicely incorporated, and then you would want to start mixing your flour at this point. So start mixing the flour slowly and continue to mix on medium speed. Again, every once in a while scrape the sides so everything is mixed in very well. Cookie batter is really dense, so you would want to scrape the whisk as well to get everything out of the scrape, and then again mix it well for again 2 to 3 minutes. When all the flour is done, add your chocolate chip and walnuts, and at this point you don't have to mix too much into the mixer. Just give it a few seconds and take it out. Give it a couple of folds with a spatula and place them on a baking sheet Use an ice cream scoop to shape the cookies and place them about 2 inches apart on the baking sheet on a parchment paper. Bake them at 350 degrees for about 8 to 10 minutes and make sure not to overbake because they do continue to cook after they're out of the oven. So just when the sides are slightly golden, take them out of the oven and place them on a wire rack. Look at how chewy these are. Let me know how you liked the recipe and please consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching.